about debugging. Here we got my Hello World Cup application that you got real-time changes, which is nice. But then I'm going to search World Cup image, right? Whatever, the first one. Maybe not the first one, maybe the second one. Here you go. So I'm just going to download it, save image as, right? And then I'm going to find the CodeFlix. What is CodeFlix? CodeFlix, and then after CodeFlix, we got we got public, and then we've got source, front end, gallery. That's it, right? So worldcup.jpg. Let's keep it simple, right? So if that's correct, then you can see the World Cup image is here. So I can import it. Import World Cup image from where? From worldcup.jpg maybe. Yeah, correct. Okay, so we got that, and that means that now I can add an image tag, Alt or C, right? I can even add Alt with a message, and that's it, right? So by doing that, we got the image here, right? Easy. Right. Obviously, at the moment, even if I click on it, nothing happens, but we can solve that by adding some logic. So I can add an onClick method. Let me add some break lines for readability purposes. It's going to be onClick equals this dot display fixtures, right? So then I can add a new function here, and then as part of that function, I can do an alert, hello fixture, right? Easy. So if we do that, we click on the image, and we got the alert, right? So we managed to add an event, so whenever we click on the image, we got that, right? Nothing very exciting. But let's make it more complicated. Let's add a state. I want to add a state, so whenever we click on the image, I want to change the content, right? I want to show some results, whatever. So to do that, you already know how to add a state. So I'm going to do that quickly again. So constructor, right? So with the constructor, then I do super, and then I go this dot state equals are fixtures visible false, right? So then I can go to my display fixtures, and I can do this dot set state, and then I can do equals true, right? So that's something we already know, right? So if I click, nothing happens now, but I hope the state will change. So we can even check the state here. We can do this dot state dot are fixtures visible, right? So if we try that, they are false, and then where are my fixtures? State are fixtures visible. That's interesting. Where is my data? Hello? Does anyone knows? It's because it's a Boolean. Come on, React. You can do it. Here you go. Yeah, okay, so apparently the Booleans are not visible, but that's fine. I don't mind about that. We prove it works. Right, so what I want to do is, if our fixture visible is true, I want to return something. If not, I want to return something else. So we can keep it quite simple. We can do, look, at the beginning of the render, we can do conditionals. You already know how if-else works. So we can do if-else. So we can do if this dot state dot are fixture visible, then I want to return div, here are the results, blah blah blah, right? You got the idea. I'm iterating. You see, from the first 20 seconds I got something to show to the customers, and then if not, so then just do the default, right? So we got that. If I click, you see on top, right? We can obviously improve the UI, we can add a title, well, you know all these things, right? It's up to us now to make it beautiful, right? But I'm not going to spend too much time doing this today. I just want to show you how to prototype conditional rendering and how to debug it. Right, so that's it, right? Easy. I refresh, right? Cool. And then obviously we can add another button here to hide the results. So we can add a button on click equals, and then we call this dot hide results, right? So then if we create hide results function, essentially the only thing we want to do is to change the value of our fixture visible, right? Easy. Easy if it works, right? If I add a typo, it's not that easy, right? So I did something wrong. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not closing the button, right? That may help. So if I add close results, that may absolutely make the difference. That's it. Here you go. Right? You see? Right? Cool. But imagine that this is not working as expected. So imagine that I do something wrong, and then our fixture visible instead of false is true, right? I didn't realize, copy paste, classic. So I click on the image, I saw the results, but then that's not working, right? Classic problem with React. The UI is not responding as expected. So let's debug it. Let's see what's going on. So we, as usual, can inspect the console, and yeah. So let's try to do something readable. I know it's going to be challenging because of the size of the screen, but yeah, I'm sure we can do something. So you know how to open DevTools, but then yes, give me a second. Yeah, that will help. So right, so let's refresh. We got the image, but then we cannot close the image. So if we want to debug things with React or with any JavaScript application, actually, it doesn't necessarily need to be a React thingy. So look, we got the sources tab on the right-hand side. Let me make it slightly bigger. Not that, no, here. Exactly. So you got sources on the right-hand side. You click on it, and then it's telling you how to open a file. We want to open a file. Which file do we want to open? In that case, the one I'm using, which is the gallery, right? So I can type Command P. I think in Windows is Control P, right? Just follow the instructions here, and then I can just type gallery, and I got the gallery, right? So this is the source code. You see, I got the same on the left, proper source code at the development time, and on the right-hand side is the source code at runtime, right? So again, let me just get as much space as possible. Okay, that should make it. So I'm going to add a few breakpoints just to remember how this works, and I'm going even to change that a bit to make it more complicated. So instead of doing our fixture visible here, so I'm going to add a componented mount as a refresh of how this works. So I create componented mount, and then I'm going to initialize the state here, our fixture visible to false. So then here I can set it to nil because it's just the initialization, right? So then I got the same, exactly the same thing, right? So then I'm going to add a few breakpoints, and you are going to help me to debug this. I'm going to add a breakpoint on the constructor. Here you go. Another in the componented mount, display fixtures, hide results, render if else, right? So we got quite a lot of breakpoints here, and I would like you to understand how the workflow with React is, because this is vital. This is super important towards being able to solve problems. So can anyone tell me the order of the breakpoints that will get executed? And I know it's challenging because of the size of the screen, so probably can make it smaller again. Yeah, I mean, at least the first ones. So can you tell me the order of the breakpoints? 8, 28, 26, 27, 14. That's it? Right, we got one more on line 36. There's one.
Oh, that was a 2. Well, then 26 decides whether it's going to be 27 or 36.
After 26, 36, yeah. Like that?
No, No, it's conditional. 27 and 36 is conditional.
So then what?
Well, the software is going to decide if it's going to render 27 or 36 or 976.
So then what?
No 27.
No 27, says Justin. So we got, let's review that. Number
Yeah, we have to have a look at
8 and then 26 and then 18, 18, right? I'm not going to click anything. I just want unload. I need to refresh the page and see which endpoints are triggered. Right, so 826, you said 18, Christian? Constantine, where is 18?
after 26.
After 26. Do you agree on that?
I agree.
Okay. Why? Can you explain that?
Because on 26 there's a condition, and
Yeah.
the condition needs to be true or false. And
Cool.
the software needs to check that.
Yeah.
So it goes to see are fixtures visible variable and looks for the value.
Yeah. Okay. But then what?
Well, it looks for the value.
So check that it's false.
Yeah, it's false. So then what?
But where does it check?
So it goes to else.
It goes to else. Oh, what? Look at that. No, thank you for nothing. Java. Yeah, sorry.
So
After 26, it should be 36.
After 26, it should be 36. 18. Look, 18. This is very exotic. Can anyone explain me why line number 18 will be executed at all?
I think it's
Constantine?
Because we go to if statement.
Yeah.
but that we have three if statements.
Yeah, we got the if statement. And then what?
So we go to its condition.
Yeah, if
To
condition.
check condition, we need to go to are fixtures visible.
Yeah, correct.
We need to get the value.
Yeah. And then?
But where do you get that value from? Because we have three variables called are fixture
Can you go
visible.
up?
Can I go up? Yes.
Well,
Okay.
it goes to number 8. Oh no, it came from number 8. It goes to 14 instead of 18.
the first time it ran.
Should go to
It's the first time. I'm not going to click on any button.
and
Just, I'm going to refresh the page. And I want to see the execution order. Because that's important to understand what will happen.
After a component did mount, it should render again.
Yep.
But
Okay.
It's changing its state,
Yeah.
so it goes to 26 and then 30.
26.
But
Do it from the beginning.
after component did mount,
Yeah, after component mount what?
14.
Yeah.
It will change the state.
It will change.
So it'll force it to render again.
Yep.
So we'll go back
To
down
26.
26. And then because it's still false,
Yep.
it would go to an else.
36.
And that is what you come up with.
All right.
Right?
how do you get the component did mount? Justin, how do you get the component did mount?
Because it immediately invokes itself when it renders.
But it doesn't
But it renders first. It renders first. It gets the state, then it renders first, and then the component is mounted. It executes the component did mount.
Yeah, but if the render after the set stage starts with an if statement, then isn't it logical to think that it's not going to go to component did mount, it's going to somewhere else?
It always goes to component did mount after the first time we render the component.
Yeah, but we don't even know what to render.
It's all trigger something and the
Yeah. It's component
Right.
will only-
I see a lot of confusion here, right? So I'm going just to do it because otherwise we can spend hours. So what I can tell you for sure is that this is not going to work. It will never stop here because who is triggering display fixture? Let's review it. On click. So to go there, I need to click on the image. So that will happen later on. But at render, at loading time, it's not going to stop here. So I'll tell you what will happen. You were mostly right, actually. You were not that far away. So first of all, is the constructor. It's 8, for sure. Then you said 26. I agree on that. Then we go to render. And then our fixture visible, the first time, is nil. So nil is evaluated as
False.
is false, exactly. So then, and I'm going actually to, I'm going even to make it undefined, just to make it more explicit, right? Cool. So it's undefined. So 8, then 26. This is false, so it will jump to not 18. It will jump to 36, right?
Yeah.
And then after 36, it will run the component did mount. 14. Agree on that. After component did mount, it will run the render again. 26. Agree. But still, the value is still false, so it will run else 36. I think that's correct. And let's prove it. Refresh. Right, the endpoint is nowhere. That's interesting, right? Here you go. Cool. Number 8. That was right. Then it should jump to the render. Exactly, 36. And that should be evaluated. Look, this is debugging, right? You can hover over, you can do lots of things, right? If I hover over, it gives you the value of the variable, undefined. Why undefined? Because that's what we just said, right? Cool. So undefined is false, so it will go to the else block. 36, we are correct. So then it will firstly display that thingy, but immediately after it should stop on the component did mount callback. Here you go. You see, UI is already displayed. That means the component is ready. It's available to perform further operations. So now, line number 14, we are setting the state again. Every time we set the state, exactly, it makes sense, right? Why do we have a state? Because we want to change the UI. So every time we call set a state, React will call render. But in here, we are setting the value to false, which is not very helpful, but it's what it is, right? So look, what will be the value of our fixtures visible if I hover over the variable? Undefined. Does anyone agree? False. False or undefined? False. Why false?
Change the state to false.
Exactly. We've changed the state to false, right? So if I hover over that variable, exactly, it should be false. Makes sense, right? Otherwise, what's the point? So yeah, still false. So it should again jump to line number 36. And that should be it, really. Exactly. That's it, right? That's it. But now, I'm going to click on the image. So you'll tell me the sequence. What's the sequence? I'm going to click on the image, and you're going to tell me where the debugger will stop on. 26. Yep. Is it the first result? Is it the first stop on 26?
Maybe to construct it, but it reruns it after we
It
click
goes
it,
to
reruns
hide
it.
result in 22
So it should go to run.
22. Why 22?
because that's the state, that's the this that's what you specify to go to this hide result. And then hide result starts at line 22.
Who is calling high results?
On click, button
On click of what?
Oh, but show us the image then, not the button. Scroll down. Then it goes to display fixtures.
So then what? Is that correct? 22 and 26? 18? 26 again? I mean, I can tell you that's wrong directly. Why? Because if you decide to display to do 26, then it will be either 27 or 36, right? If we are here, it will either run if or else. But for sure, it will keep going, right? Down through the root. So, yeah. So, any other suggestion? So I definitely think 22 is not going to be the first one. We are not even, that will never happen yet. We are not calling high results. High results, well, okay. Okay, but you told me, right? I'm just following.
Well, because we haven't seen image.
Okay, but then, okay, so tell me the right answer. Start again.
After 26.
26 is the first one. Right, I'm going to tell you the logic again. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on the image. If I click on the image, it will run display fixtures. So that means that the first line should be 18. That's the first thing we're doing, 18. Then, on display fixtures, we are updating the state. So then, what's next?
Render.
What?
Render.
Render. So it's line 26.
That's,
And then what?
it goes to hide.
It goes to if or else.
It goes to if.
If. So then it's line what?
27.
27. Correct. Anything else?
Not yet so far.
That should be it. That should be it. Let's try our theory. So I click on the image. Exactly. Stops on line number 18. We want to display fixtures. We are updating the state. As we update the state, it will jump to render. Let's prove that. Exactly. But now what's the value of our fixtures visible? True or false? True. Exactly. You are right. And so then it will go to line 27. Exactly. Right? So, and that should be it. That's it. So now,
How did you jump to line 27?
because I added a breakpoint in both lines,
But how is your localhost 3000 and devTools connected right now? How can you execute this?
Because this run only in browser. This
Yeah.
the code is here. And
Yeah.
Did you set? Where did you set the state? Sorry, you didn't set the state from false to true manually.
why not? I did it here.
Okay, you just went through the steps. Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand.
Right, so now we got the problem. We are expecting that when you click on close results, I want to bring the image back, right? To complete the cycle. However, it's not happening. So let's debug that. You tell me again the steps that will happen when I click on close results. I want numbers.
Close results. Set state.
2022.
22. What else?
Can you scroll down a little bit? Sorry, to the if statement.
Yep.
So if you click
26.
on the button, then it displays fixtures.
No ideas?
No, that's the image. Sorry, where is the button? No, yes. You click on the button, on click this hide results. It goes to hide results 22.
It will re-render again.
22, 26.
True.
We
Then,
go-
then it will go to 30.
So you will run else,
Yeah.
So that to run else, you need to change
36.
the value of 22.
but it's still
And then
it's
back
only
to-
so you don't click on
back
that,
to
you just
break
click on the
the
button.
render.
I'm just clicking the button, yes.
The first one, so it's
Is what?
On click, it goes to hide results. This
Yeah.
hide results, which is line
22.
22.
Yeah.
And it reads set all fixtures visible true,
Yeah.
which then, because it's a this state method or function, it goes to line 26
Okay.
and evaluates fixtures are visible true, and it renders 27, and that's the bug because it should render 36.
36.
Get the image back. If you want to get it to display the image.
No, I'm not asking you to tell me what I want. I'm asking you to tell me what's happening.
But that's what you said. You want to display the image. That's how the whole thing started.
Yep. But it's not happening. We've seen that. I closed hundreds of times on close results and nothing was happening. So I want you to tell me why. Sorry?
you're
Because-
not changing the state.
I'm changing the state.
But the value of the set fixtures are not changing with changing the state.
Yep.
And because it is always true, it will
Yep.
always render the same stuff.
Okay.
It goes into this
Yep.
loop.
Okay.
Infinity.
infinity what?
rendering.
No, that's very pessimistic. No.
Right, but every time you click on the button, you click
Well, yeah, every time.
infinite times on the button, and infinite times you're going to render the same
Yes.
component.
Okay, so let's see what happened. I click on close results. Look, line 22 makes sense, right? I'm clicking a button. Then it will try to re-render, which is correct, 26. But what's the value of our fixture visible? I was expecting now to be false, right? Because I want to close that. But if I hover, it's true. Like, hey, wait a minute. That's not what I was expecting. So it's now the opportunity to go to the code and realize that you did a typo because display results, display fixtures is true. But then on hide, we should change it to false. And that's the problem. I'll change it in a minute. For now, this is true. So it will just keep displaying the results, right? And again, and again. That's not correct. However, if we change that to false, right, and we try again, so that's to show the fixtures, display, render, if correct, and then hide results, render, it should be false now. Here you go. So it should jump to the else block, line 36, exactly. That's it, right? So we completed the cycle. Any question? I would recommend you to play around with the debugger because it's really powerful. I just showed you the basics, but in reality you can do multiple things. So now you can actually, if you have a breakpoint somewhere, you can, instead of just executing until the end, you can go step by step. You see, step over, so it will stop line by line, right? It will stop somewhere at funny places, but the thing is, eventually, right, what you can do on the right-hand side, you can inspect all the variables. So definitely there are lots of things you can do with the debugger, right? I would recommend you to spend some time playing with it. I would like to do one more thing, still got 3 minutes, about conditional rendering. So you got on the left-hand side, if something happens, blah, lots of HTML, else another bit of HTML, that's okay. I don't really like that because that takes me a while to understand what's going on. So I will strongly recommend you to split your logic into smaller components. For instance, I want to have a component just to return that and another component to return that. How can we do that? It's as simple as creating a function for each component. So this is going to be a function to do like hello world cap, and that function will just return that, right? That's what we want. So then I can replace that with just return. This is a React component, right? You see, it works. And then I can do the same thing here. So I can create another function called fixtures that will return the first bit. So then I can do that, right? Return fixtures. Look, now the code is way more readable, right? Even with the breakpoints thingy, if else. So the shorter the if else is, the easier to read, right? And we can even go farther and we can add a ternary operator. Do you remember ternary operators?
Yeah.
Question marks, colons, all these things. Yeah. So we can do return and then that condition, if that's true, fixtures, else, hello world cap. Even easier.
Yes, you could,
right? See?
I mean,
Wait a minute, something wrong? Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting. That's a really good exercise. Look, it's failing. Why is failing?
Because it's not a component. You don't need return.
No, no. It's telling you, hey, this cannot read property display fixtures of undefined. That's very interesting. I didn't want to talk about that today, but I think it's a good opportunity. Exactly, because we have split the logic, which is good, but look, on the hello world, on click, we call display fixtures, but in here, we don't have any method called display fixtures. That's why it doesn't work, right? It doesn't know what display fixtures is. So we'll go back to this topic. I would like just to let you know how we fix that. So the method is on the parent component. And it's okay, it's perfect to leave it here because we want to have just one state in a single place. That's okay. I don't want to move that method. I want to leave it here. But what I want to do is I want that component to tell this component that it should show the fixtures. In other words, so in here, hello world, we can pass a property. You already learned how to pass properties. Remember the cover component, image, title, ID, right? So we could do pretty much the thing. I can create a new property, which is a function, which is on show fixtures, and then this, I'll move it for your readability purposes, this dot show, how's the name? Show display fixtures, yeah, whatever. Right? So if we do that, essentially, that property on show fixtures is passed down to the hello world component. So here we got the props. So then we can do on click call props dot and name of the function on show fixtures. Right? So if we do that, let me get rid of some of the breakpoints and refresh. Look. Wait a minute. It's not working yet. On show fixtures. Is it saved? That's interesting. Now it's not working, but that's a good, right? Because I can add a proper debug and see why it's not working. I would expect that to work. So hello world cap, we receive props. Then we got a prop call on show pictures, which is a function. So when we call the function, we call display. Oh wait, I know why. What? R is missing. No, the function is correct. Look, this is the component. The component is rendering. However, the problem is exactly that's the problem, right? I did a typo. So on show fixtures, I want to invoke this function, and I'm not doing it. I forgot to add parentheses. You see, it even changed the color. Look at Visual Studio. It's very smart. So functions need to be yellow. It's blue, right? It's like something is not quite ready. If I add the parentheses, it becomes yellow. So if I try again, now it works, right? Do you think now I should be able to close the fixture? What happens if I click here? No? Exactly. That should blow up. If I click on that button, exactly. Because of exactly the same problem. It's literally the same thing. When you click on the button, you expect it to call a function called hide results. Where is hide results? Hey, it's nowhere. It's outside. It's here. So we need to do literally the same thing. On hide fixtures, then do your magic. So what your magic is. So we want to call a function called this dot hide results. Obviously, we could bring better naming conventions, right? But that's pretty much the idea. So then on fixtures, again, we receive props. So when we click on it, we do props dot on hide fixtures. And that should be it. So now, if we click on the image, we go back, and if we click again, right, it works in both directions. Any question?
How do you write so fast outside the parentheses?
How do I write so fast outside the parentheses?
Yeah. When you put parentheses,
Yeah. How? No.
then you immediately jump outside.
Outside?
It's a shortcut.
No, I did not get it.
Oh yeah.
So I type parentheses,
And
then what?
if you want to write,
I'm clicking with the keyboard, with the touchpad. Yeah, no, it's nothing special.
I thought it was a shortcut.
No, just fingers.
What is this and what is props?
What is this and what is props?
Yeah.
So we discussed that already. When you have a stateful component, remember when we have the class, we got this. This is a stateful component. However, sometimes we don't need state. If you don't need a state, you can simplify your component just creating plain functions. There is no class references here, right? Here on top, you got a state, you need a class. At the bottom, we don't need a state, we don't have classes, just plain functions, right? If you have plain function, you don't have any this object. You have nothing. You just receive the properties that got passed from the parent, and that's it. So there is no this object in here or there.
But earlier on, you called this what you call now function. You call this a component.
So look,
This is a
it's the same
component
thing.
as well.
It's a component which
You
is
don't necessarily-
represented by a function.
You don't necessarily have to export it.
No,
just
no,
to create a
we don't have to export it because at the moment all my components are on the same file,
page.
on the same page.
Okay, fine.
Again, I would recommend you to split that into separate files. It will be more elegant.
But would you recommend to write everything in one? Because I started yesterday to make the component and then I got lost when I couldn't.
I mean, yeah, again, iterate. If you feel more comfortable as a first step, like I did, create everything all together, that's fine. Then, once it works, once you feel strong, it's time to split it and to refactor it, right?
So that props here in this function
Yep.
refers to
To the properties that we are passing from the parent component. How many properties we're passing to fixtures? One. How many properties we're passing to Hello World Cup? One.
what is the parent component?
Well, the parent component is the component that calls the children component. This is a hierarchy, right?
But that's the component you created.
I created 3 components. We got the gallery,
Gallery.
and gallery is the parent component of fixtures and Hello World Cup.
Yes.
That's it.
And then what props refers to in function fixtures?
Say it again.
In function fixtures props. What does that mean?
Props is an object hosting all the properties that we pass here. In other words, we can add another property called Sultan,
Oh, I see, and it's going to be hosted in props.
and it's going to be Sultan is here, right? So then I can replace that by props.sultan. So if we do that, this is on click, Sultan is here because we are passing that property, right? So props is an object pointing to all the variables that we are passing here. Any other question?
So can we rename props into anything else?
That's a good question. Can we rename props into anything else? Can we do that?
Seems like it's,
Yeah. But you should.
Yes, we can. Technically speaking, because again, when you declare a function, the naming of the arguments, this is completely up to you. I will feel very awkward that you declare a variable called Albert because this is not telling me anything, but technically speaking, it's valid. The naming conventions say that this is props, right? If you are a good developer in the future, you won't do that. So you will destructure props. You don't need to learn that, but in the future, we see how to do that.
it's funny that it's called an argument and then you enter props.
If you do that, you don't even need to define any props. You are destructuring the props of it, but you don't need to learn that now. This is a new pattern. It's quite cool because it simplifies it, makes your props more readable, right? Because you can read them straight away on the declaration of the function. But yeah, we'll go through that point later on, so don't worry about it now. Any other question? No? Okay, so I'm going to leave it here, and I'll now jump to the resolution of the beginner test that most of you did on Tuesday.